So our first story is the death of libraries as we know it. No, not really. The source of books for libraries, Baker and Taylor, they're like the wholesale supplier. Huge piece of news just happened this week. Baker and Taylor just announced that they're shutting down operations by the end of this year. In a company-wide town hall with CEO Aman Kochar, employees learned the news that due to the termination of the ReaderLink acquisition deal, Baker and Taylor will wind down after more than 190 years in business. The layoffs have already started. Over 500 people have lost their jobs so far, and they had 1,500. Apparently, they owed around $26 million to creditors. Um, that's huge. I mean, that is just massive. And this is not something that just affects big publishers who mostly use Baker and Taylor to move their stuff to libraries or as just as a distributor in general. There are about 250 small presses that rely on Baker and Taylor for distribution, and now everyone is scrambling for an alternative here. If you guys notice, if you use Drafted Digital or any kind of wide distribution agreement, you'll see that Baker and Taylor is one of the options on there, and that's your library sourcing. That is your that's how you're going to get your book in the libraries, because the librarian, when they run their acquisition, they're going to open up their Baker and Taylor, select from the catalog, and order it from there, and that's just their process. So now with that going away, libraries are now scrambling for their wholesale options, and they were complaining about really long wait times, like something that would take 2 weeks to fulfill. They make an order for a few copies of a book, something that should take 2 weeks. They were still waiting 16 weeks later. Baker and Taylor was so backed up, and they were struggling so much. Um, for some context on the industry itself, book distribution is a brutal business. The margins are razor thin. Shipping costs are high, especially if you're sourcing materials and stuff from overseas now with the whole tariff thing. Um, Consolidation has been happening for a while. Uh, right now, the major player in the book distribution market is Ingram. Okay, they've bought up multiple smaller companies. Back in 2018, they even tried to purchase Baker and Taylor. That deal fell through. Now they may try to purchase parts of Baker and Taylor, kind of piecemeal. Ingram has already added 40 to 50 new staff on the library side, according to Publishers Lunch, possibly to handle incoming business from this collapse. Somebody in the comments is beating me to it. I'm going to talk about it. This is a major disruption to the library industry, publishers, small presses. Distribution is how the book world gets done. That's how books get around. And every time one of these companies go under, there's massive ripple effects. So what do you think is going to happen? Throw in the comments what you think, how this is going to affect small presses and authors. I have to now give these little reminders in here periodically. If you found this update helpful, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Ring the little bell. Buy me a coffee, whatever, all the other stuff I'm supposed to say here. So what is one of the great alternatives? Well, Amazon is already getting their fingers into the library distribution business. On June 27th, they published a blog article where they said that Amazon Business Books for Libraries is a new service designed to make it easier and cheaper for public libraries to buy books. Until now, libraries could buy office supplies, furniture, and tech equipment through Amazon Business, which is really convenient for them. Of course, you got the Amazon Business account, you got free shipping, you got all that stuff. But books, that one's a little different. Well, Amazon says they're combining the savings and convenience that libraries already love with dedicated tools built just for them. The new Amazon Business Books for Libraries platform was built in partnership with U.S. public libraries to address common pain points in book procurement. Things like cataloging, record management, and tracking new releases. So they're offering instant MARC records, M-A-R-C, machine-readable cataloging records, which libraries can now get those records right after they purchase, which means they don't have to take that time to catalog the book in their own catalogs, as long as their catalog is now able to interface with Amazon's system. There's huge savings. Amazon can give them 30 to 40% off the list price on select new releases, which are letting libraries stretch their budgets and offer more reading options. There's a library hub, which is a new dashboard for librarians, so they can discover upcoming titles, manage their purchases, and download MARC records all in one place. The VP at Amazon Business said, Brenda Spoonmore, Amazon Business simplifies procurement across library operations, freeing up valuable time for librarians to focus on what matters most, serving patrons and their communities. She added that these new tools are designed to streamline critical workflows and make it easier to find and order the right books for readers. Anyone who has been in the book business or publishing business or author business or whatever for any amount of time knows that Amazon is the big dog. All the decisions you have to make regarding your books involve Amazon in some way, even as just a tidal force, the moon exerting gravity on the earth. Amazon is doing that for you, even if you're trying to avoid them. If they're coming into the library business and libraries actually start ordering from them due to the convenience, we'll be getting closer to a monopoly on where books are coming from. Elizabeth says, on one hand, that might help my local library, which has always been super slow, but Amazon controlling more. So you have the convenience aspect of it. I mean, everything. If one guy is doing everything and everyone learns his system, everyone's going to get better at it, right? Because you can always go and learn to see, hey, what's that guy doing over there? Oh, it's the same thing I want to do. Okay, I'll just learn from him and look over his shoulder. However, we also have the monopoly problem, which also leads to the curation problem. So let's say somebody gets into Amazon and they decide they don't like books by right-wingers or left-wingers, depending on how that goes. They'll just not put your books up. Librarians won't even see your books on their dashboard. How do you get librarians to see your books on their dashboard? Is it a pay-to-play or is it a metadata? Is it what kind of game are we playing here to get librarians to see it? Will there be a way to integrate library requests? So somebody comes into the library, makes a request. Well, how many of those requests does it take before a book gets noticed by Amazon Business's library system? And they start feeding that metadata out to other libraries who may also be interested. What kind of critical mass does it take to get noticed like that? Is it just as much? Is it just, I was put out by Penguin or something, and that's what gets me on there? Does it have to do with previous performance on those books? Maybe in the series. So say I put out Semper Die a few months ago. Well, will Semper Die 2 get noticed by the Amazon library system because of the performance of Semper Die 1? Or will a sequel be condemned by the poor performance of an earlier book? There's lots of questions that are being raised here to see how this system is going to integrate with the way book distribution has already been happening. So Elizabeth is saying it makes it sound like it'll be even harder for indies to get into libraries, or it could be easier. It's the whole thing is a game, right? It's getting noticed, it's getting seen, it's knowing how to make the robots notice you. Before it was, get on Oprah, right? Get your book on Oprah, and everyone will buy your book. And then after that, it was get Amazon to notice your book. So you have to have the explosion of sales in the first 3 days, and then it was the first day, and then it was 48 hours, and then it was a week, and then the game keeps changing. And so you just have to know how the game is changing to know how to get your book to be noticed by the systems. And the system is designed to deliver books. It's designed to make customers happy, and Amazon's pretty good about trying to make their customers happy. So if you can align your strategies and tactics with Amazon strategy and tactics, then you're probably going to have more success. Now, physical force is always a thing when you're in combat. Okay, guy with bigger guns is usually going to win, but sometimes placement really matters. One sniper round can make a lot of difference in a conflict. So if you just have precise placement with your limited resources, you can still see success even when these big movements are happening. You just have to know how to do that. And, that's part of what Author Update is about. We're trying to provide you guys the knowledge to remain agile in the constantly moving world of books. I know you say constantly moving is like this industry has been glacially slow to adapt to anything for like 50 years. And then suddenly in the last 15 years, everything has been upended like 3 times. So hopefully this will be a help to you guys. We're going to continue tracking it. We're going to start looking into strategies and tactics. Hopefully Thomas will get some interviews with people who are on the inside or have already adapted to this system and they know how to get their books into there. And hopefully we'll get you guys some tactics, some tactical updates on how to do that.